Hello, Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine. I am here to do another reading for the collective. And excuse my introduction. I feel like I haven't done this in forever, believe it or not. I've been out for a little bit. I was traveling through the South from Texas to Florida, and it was a very fun adventure. However, I'm glad to be back. I am also I am using a new space. I retrieved some of my tools, we can say. A lot of the things that I work with, spiritual elements, I guess you can say, that I've applied throughout the years, and I was able to get them back. And I had left them in a storage when I moved here. So I got a lot of my things. I feel I created my sacred space. I think this might be my new reading space. That can change. Everything is subject to change. However, I want to test out this new space. And my readings, keep in mind, I do not like to create a stagnant space for myself. So consider that my videos are as random as the messages I receive, meaning they come when they, I guess, are meant to be expressed or shared with the collective. And some are meant solely for myself, some are meant to be shared with the collective, and I do my best to share the pertinent messages with you all, those that are open to receive the message from Spirit. Alright, so enough explaining of myself. I hate explaining myself. I always say don't justify yourself, but I think that's mostly to people that are questioning, like they have any kind of authority to question. But I guess there's nothing wrong with explaining yourself to those you value, those that matter, those that that you're speaking to directly, soul to soul, so to speak. So I do want to mention, in the dream state, there's a connection between the divine masculine and divine feminine in the dream state, and it's in the future. It's a future vision, but it's also like everyone's their own vehicle. Obviously, our bodies are our vehicle, but kind of like how we see our cars today, in the future, it's like an orb around our body that transports us in like a bubble. I mean, that's how I saw it in the dream, okay? So I mean, that could just be a metaphor for something that could be symbolic to you in a very specific way. But needless to say, I did see the masculine and feminine in a future where they are kind of like enveloped in their kind of like these bubble ships. All right, that's how they travel. But also that there was this like it was as if they were in, I know, me and my military stuff, right? But yes, it was like they were both military, or like they were both somehow. Maybe it's because I was watching The Handmaid's Tale. I decided to rewatch the series after the finale because it's nice to like recap after like the conclusion, and it's like you get that victory of, okay, they freed themselves from Gilead and whatnot. The beginning, it's just the beginning. And so to kind of like see how far they've come, it's symbolic to, in your own journey, like how far you've come. Like maybe you fought this battle for so long, maybe you felt repressed, maybe you felt oppressed, maybe you felt some way, somehow, that authority over your life was really something like you had no free will. It could have felt that way, and it may not have been in reality, but because you believe it, it becomes kind of like a affirmation of what you believe, right? So you kind of got yourself out of that oppression. And you may have experienced someone in your life that this is not your divine partner, by the way. This is a karmic partner, a cycle that has ended, right? Some karmic cycle that has completed. This individual somehow seems to want to believe that they can manipulate your psyche, or that they can manipulate your ability to, or know how to put it, that they can basically put you to sleep. This person really, they're doing all the things that they did. They may have done this once before. They caught you off guard. You were on a down, you were on a low, you were, maybe overwhelmed with other things that you weren't really noticing this person's little by little ability to shield, to cover you, to cover your eyes, okay, to put a veil of illusion over your eyes. So they did that little by little, and because they were able to do that, you managed to get out of it. It's not like you didn't notice it, you just weren't really addressing it altogether, or you weren't focused solely on uncovering that that delusion, or that illusion, or that betrayal, whatever it was. You weren't so focused on that. You may have been more focused on other things, and so therefore it took a little longer to get out of that. But once you did, now that you have, and it's like wrapped up like a trash bag and out the door to be disposed of, because it's material that you can't work with. It's material that you've applied in all ways you thought you could, and it's what we would call maybe waste management. Waste management. Who knows? I don't know, folks. I'm telling you what's coming through. I am just a vessel for... Oh, look at that distancing technique. Who is doing such a thing, sir? Your insistence on hierarchy is merely a distancing technique. Does that have to do with what we were just chatting about? The deliberate maintenance of psychological distance from and lack of emotional involvement with others in order to A. Moderate a relationship's characteristics and intensity. B. Cope with situations that could betray one's weaknesses. Characterized by aloof coolness, resistance to intimate acquaintanceship, non-committal tendencies, isolation, alienation. Who's doing this, folks? Is this person, this toxic person? Did you have a catharsis about this person? And this is probably what they were doing, this distancing technique. Your insistence on hierarchy is merely a distancing technique, sire. This person played these games because they were trying to create some form of distance, because they don't want to be emotionally involved. This is how they control. This is how they moderate their own relationships' intensity. They can't cope with the intensity of emotional overwhelm. You see how I emphasize that? The whelm, because that's how it felt for them. It was overwhelming. It was a big whelm. Non-committal tendency. Let's see. Catharsis. What was this? You may go to prison, yes, but what catharsis in finally speaking the truth. So someone may finally be speaking their truth. They may figure out that they're going to feel like, they may have put themselves in a little corner. They may be kind of stuck in a situation now that they can't get out of. Like maybe somebody wrongfully committed where they didn't want to commit, and now they're stuck. But hey, they spoke their truth, but now they feel like shit. They created a prison for themselves, like maybe a reputation that they don't want to face, or something like that. Let's see. Catharsis. The emotional experience of relief from tension and anxiety as a result of releasing into consciousness repressed ideas, feelings, wishes, and memories, characterized by pre-catharsis, frustration, lack of closure, tension, repression, defensiveness. Post-catharsis, relief, joy, fatigue, tears, sadness, disclosure, honesty, sensation of being a completely new person. Alright, so somebody cleared some very, 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 very dark energies. But here's the thing. One person is healed. That might be you, my dear. Okay? You might be feeling the relief and joy. You might be feeling a little bit of the fatigue, a little bit of exhaustion, maybe some tears of, damn, I can't believe I went through all this shit, but I overcame it. Can't believe I got through this stuff and I finally closed that cycle. You may be sad for the people that you couldn't, clear it all with, that you wanted to, have that clean slate with, but you couldn't do that. All right, so you might feel sad. Some disclosure was necessary. Some truth had to be told. Some honesty. But at least now you feel new. You feel like, damn, I cleared it all and I'm ready. I can start anew. But meanwhile, there's somebody that's full of anxiety, because a lot of things that they were, that they were tense about, that they needed relief from, those feelings and wishes, those were, they were causing them to feel very defensive, very frustrated, because they couldn't get the closure that they wanted, the way that they wanted it. I mean, they were able to it's like they got closure, but not the closure they wanted. I mean, their body might feel a relief. They're no longer in the tension and anxiety. They're no longer repressed in ideas and feelings. They're no longer trapped by their memories or their wishes. But there might be a lot of sadness because they don't feel like, they're releasing the thing that they never got closure on. It's like, but I didn't finish that game, but I can't play it anymore, but I didn't finish that project, I don't get to see what it becomes, and I just have to let it go. In the basket kind of idea. I don't know, folks. I'm just saying what I'm saying. Oh, who's in denial? Denial. She's in denial about that stupid striped hat. Who's in denial? A defense mechanism that allows a person to ignore or forget certain information in order to avoid conscious awareness of painful or unacceptable thoughts, feelings, desires, and aspects of reality. Denial. The Nile. Which Nile? Lyle? Is there a Lyle? In the Nile, there is a Lyle. The Isle of God. Where did that come from? The Isle of Giza? That makes no sense to me, sire. But we're gonna say it anyways. Oh, really? Oh. Listen, folks, we're talking here. Spirit and I are having a frickin' conversation. It's in Aries. Why is there an Aries in reverse? Aries, what's going on, dear? Oh, love matters. What's going on with your love matters? Well, there's this Scorpio, okay? And I don't know, but this Scorpio, he's hypercritical. He is extremely judgmental, and he only sees the West in me. Something's not over, though. What's not over? Something to do with the home. Something has occurred in the home. Something has occurred in the home. Someone didn't study. Who didn't study? Who? Scorpio. What are you hiding? Ma'am, I'm not hiding anything. Scorpio, but you are. You are. Okay? Did you just release a connection, but it was hidden? Did you have a hidden affair or a hidden relationship that somebody, but you let it go? But I mean, you had it. It was deep, but nobody knew about it. It was a secret. With who? With the Libra. A Libra in reverse. Was this a partnership that went south? Scorpio. Aries is asking. Somebody's right eye could be very tense, or somebody might be getting like a tension headache. Like maybe they're trying too hard to see something. Don't try so hard with the physical eyes, folks. Don't try at all. Someone's communicating. Could be a Sagittarius. Sagittarius wants to communicate or is communicating. Oh, they're thinking about a relationship. A chaotic relationship. An intrusive one, indeed. A loud one. Something that didn't quite work. I wonder what that could have been. A bad relationship. Or another hidden relationship. Excuse me? Sagittarius. Are you the person Scorpio is dealing with? Or is this just another person altogether? We have a Sagittarius that's communicating or wants to communicate about a partnership at work or some partnership that did not work. It was in the negative kind of thing. It was a karmic relationship, no doubt. It was out of balance. But this one is not over either. Oh gosh. Maybe this is a Scorpio Sag cusper, but didn't understand, didn't study, didn't learn about themselves something very valuable in regards to their values, to their commitment, to their partnerships, to their soul ties. What could it have been? Something about love and chaos. Chaos. Bloodshed, blood spill. This is a discourse. This is some form of someone's drinking too much, someone's getting very aggravated, and somebody's fighting over something that they need to, something that they don't want to communicate, or they don't want to talk about, or something that they don't want their close people to know about. They're very private in their private space, like in their neighborhood or maybe in their community or amongst their, they have like a secret relationship that they don't want people to know about. And it's possible that this could just be about sex, not love, because it's hidden. This could just be like a fantasy kind of thing, some kind of fantasy relationship. So it's hidden from the home. It's not being discussed. But these thoughts are being exposed, or this person's way of thinking and communicating is showing up. And they don't want it to be exposed. It's like they don't want you to know how they think. They don't want you to know how they talk. They don't want you to know. It's like they don't want you to speak on what you know about them, about who they are at home, or what they hide at home, or what is. They don't want their fantasies exposed in the home when it comes to sex, or when it comes to maybe just the whole subject of, sexual energy is taboo. Maybe their partnerships, or maybe when I say taboo, it could just be that they're very private about their intimate partnerships. There's something to do with no passion or lacking passion, again, in the home. So I'm getting, is this coming across clearly? I'm getting that somebody is, asking questions about a Scorpio that may have been involved with some Sagittarius energy. Okay, could be a Libra. But what they're doing is the Sagittarius and this Scorpio, if it's not them together, one or the other is experiencing something. I'm getting kind of like a third party situation where this is like a 4-party situation, okay? You could be someone that you may have known, Divine Feminine, a masculine that you may have been involved with, is involved with someone that they're betraying or they're keeping secrets from. The person is keeping secrets because there's something lacking in the home, or maybe that's what it is. They're afraid that you're going to expose what's going on. I feel like this masculine and his partner at home, they may have been trauma bonded off of their dislike of you, Divine Feminine, in some way. That's weird. Okay, but this masculine stepped out on this feminine, and because he stepped out on this feminine, he's aware that you're aware of what he's up to, and he doesn't want you exposing how he is or how he thinks, because it will reveal to her what's happening behind closed doors from her perspective. You're revealing that for her. That's what he doesn't want you to do, because you'll expose his heart. Has no values for the mother. This person is eccentric in a lot of ways. This person doesn't have a lot of love, or doesn't express love. They're impersonal. They don't connect with their friends. This is a person that's just very they're a hoarder of love with themselves. But in that way, it's like they keep it all to themselves. It doesn't work. They're controlling. They like to control the connections that way. Ugh. Sounds kind of ugh. Alright, I think I'm gonna come back because my attention is so needed right now. Pourquoi? ¿Por qué será? Alright, folks, I'll be back soon.